Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to learn how to make this cute giraffe cake topper. So I've got some Renshaw's modelling paste and I've just coloured it the honey gold colour with a touch of autumn. And we're going to roll kind of like a sausage shape that's bigger at the bottom than it is at the top. And you're just going to really focus on making the top bit quite slim because that's going to be the neck of the giraffe. And then we're just going to cut the top of the neck away at an angle. This is just going to give us a nice base to sit the head on. And we're just going to pop a kebab skewer through the middle of that. Now I've dipped the kebab skewer in water just to make sure that it sticks to the neck. And then just pop that to one side and we're just going to let that dry. Next we're going to work on the head. So I've rolled a ball and then I've just focused a little bit on the top to give us sort of like a fat teardrop, and this is going to form the basis of the head. So the smaller bit is at the top and the larger bit at the bottom. Just check it for size against your model, and then with the little fingers we're just going to make some eye sockets, smooth around the edges of that, and then inside those we're going to make another hole just with a ball tool, just slightly deeper than what we did with our fingers. So just some white balls of fondant, and these are going to form the eyes. We're just going to push that into place and smoothen it out. Use your ball tool if you need to. Just smooth it all out, and then same for the other side. Try to get them both the same size as each other. And then we're going to do some blacks for the eyes. Now I left these black. I have got an elephant tutorial where you can see that I've given the elephant blue eyes, and so that one will show you obviously how to colour the eyes, but for this cake I made all the animals have the same black eyes. This one is looking straight ahead, so I've put the eyes sort of in the middle of the face. Just smoothing it out with the Dresden tool and pushing it to where it needs to be. Just neatening up the line if needed. So next we're going to put the reflections in the eye. So I've got some really tiny blobs of fondant and we're just going to pop that in. Try to get it in the same place on each eye. And that's just going to make it look a bit more realistic. And then we're going to put the eyeliner on. So I made this one a girl, so it's got a little bit of a flick to the side. If you was going to do a boy, you just take the flick off. So it's just a tiny piece of fondant that's pointy at one side. Obviously the pointy side goes into the inner of the eye, and then on the outside you're going to cut off at an angle, and that's just going to give us that tiny little flick that we want. And we're going to do the same for the other side. Now I've done quite a few animals recently, and I think out of all of them this one is definitely my favourite. It just looks really cute. I have made a playlist of all the different animal tutorials that I've done, and I will put a link to that in the video if you want to check some more of those out. So once we've done that, we're just going to take some of the yellow that we used for the body, and I've just added a bit of white to that to make it a bit paler. And this is going to form the nose. So you're going to cut it at a bit of a rounded angle and then just stick it down with a little bit of water, concentrating on getting it really neat around the face and then trimming it off around the sides of the face. So if you've got any marks underneath it, you can just smooth it out with your hands. So in with the Dresden tool for the nose, you're pushing in slightly and lifting up to give the shape of the nostrils. So now we're going to stick that on the body. Just a little bit of water on the cocktail stick just to make sure that it holds it in place. And then we're going to do the ears now. So I've got some of the dark coloured yellow that I use for the body. We're just going to cut out some rough ear shapes. And then I've got some of the lighter colour as well, and we're going to match the same that we're doing right now. So just trim both ears, try to get them as close to each other as you can. They are going to be folded, so it doesn't matter if one's a little bit bigger than the other or one's a little bit wider than the other. So with the lighter coloured fondant, you're going to do exactly the same, just a little bit smaller. And then you're going to pop these in the centre of the ears that we've created. And just pushing it down to make sure that it sticks. So with a Dresden tool, the pointy end, you're going to put in a line into each of the ear. And then when you pick it up, you're just going to fold it together at the bottom. And that's going to give us our ears. So when I stuck these on, I've kind of like had them sloped down a little bit just to make it look super cute. So just a little bit of water and then just pushing it into place, trying to get the other one to match. So for this one, I gave her a little bit of a fringe. So we're just going to cut out some triangles. So quite long triangles, and that's going to give us the basis of our fringe. Just a little bit of water, and we're going to stick that in between the ears. So next we're going to do the legs. So rolling out a sausage shape, and you're going to cut out two pieces roughly the same size, pressing them onto the board, and that's just going to create the foot, and then cutting off at an angle, and that's going to make it so that when it sticks on the body it's not bulging out towards the bottom. Try to do the same for the other one. So this I've gave quite stumpy little legs. You're just going to stick those on with a little bit of water, like that. And then we're going to do the front legs. So similar as to what we've just done for the bottom legs or the back legs. Pushing it against the table to create the foot. And then just making it the length that we want it. Making sure that you try to make them both the same width. And then these ones we're going to cut off at a little bit of an angle or press down with your fingers, and that's going to make it tapered a little bit to the top so that it's a little bit thinner. So that's what you should have so far. Next we're going to paint on the patterning. Now I did smaller ones around the face, so just tiny little dots. They don't need to be too neat. You kind of want the end a bit jagged, which is why I'm sort of going up and down with the brush. And I've just done sort of some areas either side of the ears, and then a little sort of freckly area up towards the nose. And then I've painted the neck and some on the side as well. You want to try and make sure that this is the last thing that you do, because the paint can stay wet for a little bit of a time. And when it stays wet, obviously then you're prone to touching it and transferring bits of colour to other places that you didn't want it to be. When you have finished adding in the bits of colours that you want, I think this one is the Autumn Leaf from the Sugar Flare range. When you finish painting on the patches of colour, I've got some licorice black, and I'm just going over the outline of the markings that I've made. I'm using sort of like the same method that I've used where I'm sort of like wobbling my hands sort of up and down a little bit, because I want the edge to be a little bit jaggedy. I will put some of the videos, the animal videos, in the box at the end, so you can have a look at those if you want to. If you've tried any of my tutorials, feel free to join the Cake Nation Academy group, which I have over on Facebook, where you can share your work with us. We have the option to ask if you need any help. I also take tutorial requests from there as well. So it'd be really great to see some of the work that gets done from the use of these tutorials that I do. So you can see that I'm just going around, even the tiny little dots, just putting a little bit of black on there, and that's just going to give us sort of like the definition that we need for the markings that the giraffe has. So once you've done all these, we're going to create some I don't really know what they call them on the top of a giraffe's head. They have like little knobbly bits, I guess. So all I've done for that is I've got a cocktail stick and I've cut it in half. I've stuck the pointy bit is coming out of the head, and then I've just taken some of the orange and I've just coloured it a slightly darker brown. So you can see I'm just popping it in there, and then the little balls, I'm just going to wet the end and stick the little balls on there. Just a tiny little bit of water because you don't want it to fall down. And then just pushing it into place like so. So here's the giraffe, and then here's the cake that I put her on. I hope you've liked today's video. If you have, please give a thumbs up and don't forget to comment down below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the little notification bell. And if you liked today's video, please click the links on the screen now to see more. Thanks for watching.